The right care, right at home. Australia's premier in-home care provider. Local legends want it. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias.
Hello and welcome to a new season of Without Bias for 2024. We are so excited to be back here at Bowls Australia, and we are ready to launch into a huge stint of lawn bowls over the next few weeks here on 1116 SEN. Tonight we have a massive show. Barrie Lester, former Jackaroo, he's going to join me to chat about his new role at the Broadbeach Bowls Club ahead of the Australian Open, as well as his own on-green exploits. And former Jackaroo and world champion Lynsey Clarke is going to join me as well to talk about her quest for an 11th Australian Open campaign. And of course, this is all for Bowls Australia's local legends wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. But let's get into our first guest, and he's a man who is doing very, very well in the social media space. He's doing wonderful promotions at Broadbeach, and he's a pretty handy bowler himself. He just retired last year, but his name is Barrie Lester. Baz, thanks for joining me on Without Bias. How are you?
Good, Val. Thanks for having me back on the show, mate. It's one of my favourite shows, and it's great to get all the brilliant messages of lawn bowls out there around the world, mate.
It wouldn't be Without Bias without having you on the first show. But yeah, really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the Australian Open coming up. But before we do that, how has retired life been since you hung up the green and gold uniform?
It's been, it's hard because you miss being around the Jackaroos players and the staff and you know, having fun with your teammates and just having that that lifestyle of knowing that, your teammates are all share the same goals and dreams to represent the green and gold. But having been involved in the Jackaroos environment for so many years, I was pretty content when I retired, and that's probably kudos to the program that's been put together the last sort of 15, 20 years, and to have the support of the coaches, the high performance team, Bowls Australia and the players. It was the right time for me, and but I've been still competing a lot, trying to stay fit and healthy so I can still match it with the young guys coming through, mate. And just enjoying my bowls and trying to put back into the sport wherever I can.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing, and you've moved recently to the Broadbeach Bowls Club as your home club. So tell us how that's going. It's the focal point of the Australian Open. Everything sort of happens at Broadbeach at the end of the tournament. All the finals are staged there. How has the move been?
It's been great. I've tried to do it across social media to really let people all around the world, people that follow the Broadbeach Bowls Facebook page, to give them a bit of an insight to all the work that does actually happen months and months out from an event like the AO. We've put up photos and videos of things like putting in new water fountains, putting up new lighting, signage, just maintenance work, pressure washing concrete. Like, the amount of work our staff do is incredible. Greenkeepers, and then to be under new management, we've got a new board, and we've got so many fantastic things happening at the club. And I just can't wait for everyone to get up here from down south and from those overseas to walk into Broadbeach Bowls Club and see a fresh look club and brand new facilities. So I'm really enjoying my time here in marketing and promotions and being able to play at a powerhouse club. And to win the Premier League this year was fantastic. And it's great to be able to walk the corridors and see people that are all striving to make this club even bigger and better than what it is.
Looking forward to getting up there next week for the Australian Open. Of course, it's going to be an amazing fortnight on the Gold Coast. Barrie Lester, former right at home Jackaroo, joining me on Without Bias. And of course, local legends are wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. Baz, you've got a big promotion coming up at Broadbeach on Friday week. So the Friday right before the Australian Open, 7th of June, Friday Night Lights, Broadbeach Bowls Club. What's happening?
Yeah, it's the rematch, Val. It's Ryan Bester taking on Gary Kelly from last year's World Bowl singles game on the same green. It's going to be nearly a year later. It's just an initiative that I came up with, having Ryan and Gary be good, close mates of mine. I just thought, well, I wonder one day when they'll ever actually have a rematch. And I thought, well, why don't we create one ourselves? So I went to the board and the management here at Broadbeach, and they were all for it. And basically, on June 7th at 6:30 on Green 4, we'll have a TV rink set up just below our brand new terrace. And it's a way to launch the Australian Open, a way to really get people in the door and come down and not only be excited about the Australian Open happening, which starts the next day, but also watch two of the world's best players go toe-to-toe in a rematch. And thank so much Bowls Australia for coming on board to live stream it, and really can't wait to see those two players go at it and have a really good night of it at the club. So, yeah, it's never really been done before. Something similar was happened years ago between John Snell and David Bryant from their 1980 World Bowls rematch, but this is just a fun new initiative, and we want to sort of maybe see if this can be the start of things to come on the eve of the Australian Open moving forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to call this on Bowls Australia's platform. So it's going to be live streamed on BA's Facebook and YouTube channels. So head to Facebook and YouTube and follow and subscribe to Bowls Australia's page, and you'll be able to see everything as it comes throughout the Australian Open. But what's going to be on at the club for those in attendance on that Friday night? Because I know it's going to be pretty big. I know you guys have put a lot of stuff out on social media. So what can we expect from Broadbeach if we're heading down?
Yeah, well, the week of bowl starts on Monday with the Blue Diamond pairs. So we've got 4 full greens of pairs Monday, Tuesday. Then the Matador 4 starts Wednesday right through to Friday, and that's 224 bowlers across the 4 greens. So we'll have a big week of bowls, and Gary and Ryan are competing in that 4s event. So once that finishes and we do the presentations, they'll put their international gear on, and we've got live entertainment. We've got some prizes to be won with guess the winner and guess the exact score. We've got outdoor music. We've got the brand new deck, and we've obviously got Bowls Australia live streaming. So it's really a huge night for the club, which we will really team up with Bowls Australia to make it a Bowls Australia launch. And when you're talking entertainment and a brand new club set up an outdoor terrace, it's going to be just an amazing feel. And Gary and Ryan have the next day off. Those are probably wondering how they're going to cope, but they're going to rest up the next day and get into their singles the following day. So it's hats off to both players for giving up their time, and I think it's just going to be a great promotion for the sport. Certainly,
it's going to be wonderful, and I can't wait to be a part of it. Barrie, now switching tact to the Australian Open, how special is this tournament for you? You're a 2-time winner, defending 4s champion in fact, but how special is the AO for yourself?
Oh, I always think of the AO as the hardest tournament in the world to win. You've got to win any discipline, you've got to do it over 2 weeks at multiple venues in multiple weather conditions, playing in multiple disciplines. So it just doesn't get any harder than that. And I've played in really hard tournaments all around the world, and people are away from home. They're sleeping in different arrangements. They're away from family and friends and so on. So it's not like they're just slipping out from home each day. It's a really hard event to win. So I'll be teaming up with Aaron Tees, Corey Wedlock and Aaron Sheriff again in the 4s, and there's no harder thing to do in sport than to go back-to-back, and we'll be trying our hardest. And I'm got a really good close friend of mine in Ben Hubber in the pairs, and I'll be having a little crack at the singles. I've made a semi-final, a quarter-final of singles before, and yeah, I've got a new sort of little love for singles at the moment. I've played some singles recently and quite enjoyed it, but ideally I do get more kicks out of playing team events and being around my mates. But yeah, I'll be in there trying my best, and I've played in every Australian Open since 2005. The first one at Yarraville Footscray, and to think next year we'll be celebrating 20 years of Australian Open. It's going to be great, and it'll be 10 years next year. That'll be on the Gold Coast. So there's some really big fun times for the Australian Open moving forward. But across 14 venues and to see thousands of people travel all around the world to be here, it's just a fun event to be in, and I can't wait.
Yeah, massive milestones coming up over the next year, that's for sure. But Baz, we've spoken before on BA's live stream and just through general conversation about the AO singles event and how hard it is to win. And you just mentioned then how hard the AO is to win as a whole in any form. How difficult would you say it is? Is it the hardest to win globally?
It's hard because I don't want to, take any gloss off any other singles events. Obviously the Golden Nugget, it's the creme de la creme there. You've got the World Indoor over at Potter's Leisure Resort. There's some really hard singles events to win. But for me, the Australian Open singles is by far the hardest event to win in the world. You've got to win it across multiple venues on greens you've never played on before. You're battling different weather conditions, and you're also not playing with continuity. You are playing singles one day, pairs another, 4s another, or 4s for a couple of days, and you might have a week off with your singles. So it's not just the continuity there. So for me, it's definitely the hardest singles event in the world to win, and it really does test out the mental capabilities of the players and compartmentalising, because these players, like I said, they're staying in hotels, they're in tourist parks, they're not just staying at home or just having a sort of a standard lifestyle. It's a big challenge, and you've got to juggle all that, and you've got to prepare and recover. And we speak about the Jackaroos, Val. They've just come off a camp recently, and they'll be all about how they're preparing, recovering, leading into a big event like this, and that's a big one. So, and if you can get deep in a few disciplines, it's hats off, because a win is very hard, but if you can get deep in a discipline or two, it's you've done well to get that far.
100% agree. And one final one before I let you go, Baz. What would a third Australian Open title mean to you?
Yeah, it meant a lot, because I'll get to play with three really good mates in the fours. Obviously, a very good mate in Benny Hubbard, but it's been a pretty good tournament for me over the years. Made plenty of finals, and to come away with 2 wins over my time, it's good. And a third one would be amazing, just to be a good team player and a mate to my teammates, and just show that I want to be a good player on the green, but also just help them out as well with playing my role. So, like, as I said, it's very hard to win, but it's, as they say, brick by brick, or day by day, or game by game, week by week in football. But it's definitely like that in the Australian Open. So, Val, I'd love to walk away with another title, and I'll be trying my best with some really good mates.
Looking forward to seeing you in action. Barrie Lester, thank you very much, and we can't wait for next Friday night, Ryan Bester versus Gary Kelly, a rematch of the World Bowls Championship singles final from 2023. Baz, thank you very much. We'll catch you at the AO.
See you soon, Val. Thanks, mate.
Barrie Lester joining me on Without Bias, former right-at-home Jackaroo, working wonders at Broadbeach. Looking forward to seeing that match between Bester and Kelly on Friday night. Of course, tune into Bowls Australia's Facebook and YouTube channels for that. But don't go anywhere, because Lynsey Clarke, another former Jackaroo, she's going to join me right after this, ahead of another Australian Open campaign where she's looking for title number 11.
The right care, right at home. Australia's premier in-home care provider. Local legends wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls clubs near me.
From the wide outdoors to the great indoors, this is Without Bias.
You're listening to Without Bias. Val Febbo here, and of course, local legends wanted. Search Bowls clubs near me. And my next guest, she doesn't need many introductions, but I'm going to give her one anyway. She's a 10-time Australian Open champion, former Jackaroo. She's a world champion, Com Games gold medalist, an all-round wonderful human being. Her name is Lynsey Clarke. Linny, thank you for joining me on the first episode of Without Bias in 2024. How are you going?
I'm very good, thank you, Val. I'm excited to be on your first episode. So, looking forward to tuning in every week and having a chat today.
Yeah, looking forward to a big season. It's going to be massive. But speaking of massive, you've won another state title in Queensland, and I can't bypass that. You haven't slowed down since your retirement. How good did winning the state fours feel?
Oh, it was pretty awesome. We were chatting, I was celebrating with the girls afterwards, and won a fair few over the years, but we were just saying it never gets old, that feeling of winning, especially with amazing friends. It was tooth and nail grand final. There was nothing in it the whole way through. Probably one of the lowest scoring fours matches I've been part of. I think it was 13 all going into the last end, over 21 ends.
Wow.
It was really good to hang on to that one and, win with Kelso, Chloe and Kira. So the little Jackaroos, I'm now former one of them. And then have the opportunity now to go on to the Australian Fours title, which will be either, I think, Barrie or Tweed Heads. I'm not sure where they're at. You'll probably know better than I. But
I think they're at Broadbeach.
Awesome.
Broadbeach
Barrie,
this year.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, love that. So, it was very, very exciting. Just love winning. Very nice.
It is very nice, and you've won a hell of a lot over the years. But, you mentioned Kelsey Cottrell, Chloe Stewart and Kira Burke, your three teammates. How special is it winning with people that you share such a close relationship with?
Yeah, I think that they're really important ones and the really special ones. And I don't play as much these days, so when I get out there, I just want to enjoy it, do what I can to help my team, but just enjoy the company as well. So we had a lot of laughs through the round. So we played over 3 days, and Kelso and I travelling together and getting the kids sorted in the morning. So the bowls bit is really fun, but it's more the off-green stuff that we sort of remember and have a good time with as well. So 3 very amazing humans that I love to call teammates.
Kira is one of your pupils. You're one of the pathways coaches at Bowls Australia, with looking after the whole Queensland region. She's one of your pupils. How rewarding is that as a coach to see them flourish, but to also be on the green with them when they do flourish?
Yeah, it's pretty unique, I guess, in our sport that our coaching team can kind of do that. And it's great to have a first class seat, I guess, to see her in action. She played so well. She didn't actually need me to pull rank in terms of the coach-athlete relationship during the event. So we played a lot together. We played Premier League at the Ospreys at Club Tweed there. We've been a lead and second unit probably the last 2 years together. We played a lot together and we learn as a unit as well. And we kind of debrief and probably able to unpack her games a little bit better because I've seen it firsthand. So, really special for her winning a state title. I think it was one of the things on her goal list for this year. So to be able to help her achieve that was really special.
Kira, of course, right at home, emerging Jackaroo, looking to make her way into the open squad at some stage in the future, and she's got the pedigree to do it. Don't worry about that. Now, Lynsey, Clarke, you had some other students do very well. Talk us through some of those results at the Queensland State Championships.
Yeah, my crew kind of cleaned up a little bit, which was very nice. I'm not saying it's a coach, but you know.
Oh, you might be the Jose Mourinho of bowls, Lynsey. Who knows?
Look, I'm very fortunate to be able to work with very talented humans, very talented bowlers. So, Kane Nelson, it was probably his tournament. So he won the first 3 gold medals on offer. So he's one of my crew, an emerging Jackaroo and a really great talent. Won the mixed pairs, the men's fours and the men's triples. And then we had Dale McWhinney, who's just new into the Jackaroo setup, but he was at the pointy end of the first couple of events and couldn't quite get over the line. He got a bronze in the mixed triples and made the quarterfinals of a couple, but was able to win the men's pairs with his brother. And then we had Brendan Wilson in the men's singles take out that title, and he's one of my Queensland Academy athletes, and he's been working really hard. So to be able to be there to support him and watch him enjoy that success was really special. So he actually came runners-up last year. He held the gold medal until the last bowl of Kurt Brown in that final. So, to have suffered that kind of heartbreak and be able to come back and, get a bit of, what do you call it? You know, when you come back and you're able
revenge.
to a bit of revenge, yeah. So a
redemption.
bit of revenge on Kurt there. So redemption was key, and he played just so well the whole way through. And, he comes from a bowling family. Wendy Wilson is his mum, and his sister Lauren Wilson played for our Queensland under-25 and junior team. So, very special to help support these guys. And sometimes it's just a person there in your corner clapping along and giving them a word of wisdom here and there. But at the end of the day, it's those guys putting the hard work in and getting the results, but very special for them.
Yeah, I'm actually chatting to Brendan on Bowls Australia's podcast, The Right Line, this week. So looking forward to hearing his thoughts. And as you said, he held game last year, and to lose in agonising fashion, it's an amazing achievement to come back. But now you, Lynsey, how much confidence does it give you winning a state title and then you move into the Australian Open starting next week?
Yeah, look, I think it's a perfect timing for Queenslanders to have a couple of weeks of state titles on the district side, prepare well for the AO coming up. We love the AO, just the atmosphere around the bowls clubs and that real party vibe, I guess. Good just to be putting some good bowls down. So, as I said, I don't play as much now, but I was hoping that I still kind of have it. So it's been, pretty consistently for the most part through the last week, and hoping to help out my team and have a crack at the singles, more just for fun, I guess, the singles these days. Really hopeful that I can bring that form again going into the next couple of weeks. So, winning an Australian Open title isn't easy, and you've got to be really on your game, and everyone in your team has to be playing well to win those titles. So,
don't say it's not easy, Lynsey. Don't say it's not easy, because you win them like you're shelling peas. You've won a record equaling 10 titles. How special is the tournament to you?
Look, it is. I just mentioned how great the atmosphere is. I think that has a lot to do with it. When you're enjoying your bowls and enjoying just the challenge of winning an Australian Open title, that really is what it comes down to for me. So every one of those titles has been hard work. Just, I guess, seemingly able to find the finish line first on multiple occasions. It's come down to the last bowl or two, and also teaming up with some great people along the way. I think, Kelso and I have won 7 or 8 together, which is a pretty awesome record, and I think it speaks to our friendship and We've known each other for nearly 20 years now. So, that goes a long way as well. But it's just fun, I think, Val. So when you're having a good time and playing well, then results kind of come. It's a good recipe.
It is a great vibe up there, I must say, and I do love heading up every year in June. It's a nice way to get some warmth, that's for sure, when it's pretty cold down here in Melbourne. But I must say to all the 11-16 SEN listeners, now we spoke on BA's podcast, as I mentioned, the Right Line, a couple of weeks ago, and I made a mistake saying that Kelsey Cottrell had won more titles than you. I will admit I was wrong. You've both won 10. I'll admit it on national radio. But
Wonderful.
What would an 11th title mean to you, Lynsey?
Oh, look, the like I was saying earlier with the state titles, like winning never gets old. So, I'd love to get up to like 20 titles, maybe by the time I'm 60 or so. But, winning an Australian Open title, number 11 would be pretty special. It'd be great to do it alongside Kelso. She's such a star of our game and a really good friend. It all starts with game 1, round 1. See how we go.
Certainly, Lynsey. Well, you said up to 60. There is an over 60s category as well. Don't forget that. So you can win. You can win them well after. Don't you worry. But Lynsey Clarke.
I was just thinking. Oh, sorry, Val. Before you close off, but I've got a singles, a pairs, a triples, and a fours. I haven't got an over 60s title yet, so I might go for that in a couple of decades' time.
Exactly. Plenty more titles to win before that comes around. That's for sure, Lynsey. But thank you very much for joining me on the show. It's been a pleasure as per usual. Good luck with the Australian Open. Well done on your state fours title, and I look forward to seeing you in action on the Gold Coast next week.
Awesome, Val. You're doing a great job, mate. Look forward to catching up.
Lynsey Clarke joining me on Without Bias. Looking for title number 11 at the Australian Open is the former right-at-home Jackaroo. But that's all we've got time for on Without Bias this evening. Please join me, Val Febbo, next week for another action-packed edition as we lead into the 2024 Australian Open. Until then, follow Bowls Australia's social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, at LinkedIn and YouTube. And looking forward to catching you all next week on the same time Without Bias on 11:16 SEN.